Hi, baby. Grandma's going to read you books. We have Clifford Bedtime. It's Clifford's bedtime. His mother helps him into bed. But Clifford isn't ready. He needs his bear. He needs his doll. He needs his blanket. Now Clifford needs a drink of water. But Clifford isn't sleepy yet. What does Clifford need now? Clifford needs his goodnight kiss. Sweet dreams, Clifford. A pocket for corduroy. Late one summer afternoon, Lisa and her mother took their laundry to the laundromat. As always, on such trips, Lisa carried along her toy bear Corduroy. The laundromat was a very busy place at this hour. Now, Corduroy, you sit right here and wait for me, Lisa said. I'm going to help with our wash. Corduroy waited patiently, and then he suddenly perked up his ears. Lisa's mother was saying, "Be sure to take everything out of your pockets, Lisa dear. You don't want your precious things to get all wet and soapy." Pockets, Corduroy said to himself. I don't have any pockets. He slid off the chair. I must go find something to make a pocket out of, he said. Then he began to look around. First, he came to a pile of fancy towels and washcloths, but nothing was the right color. Then he saw a huge stack of colorful clothes in his laundry bag. There ought to be something in there to make a pocket out of, he said. Without hesitating, he climbed inside the bag, which was filled with pieces of wet laundry. The dampness didn't bother Corduroy in the least. This must be a cave, he said, slightly happy. I have always wanted to live in a dark, cool cave. When the time came for Lisa to fetch her bear, he was gone. Oh, Mommy, she exclaimed, Corduroy isn't here where I left him. I'm sorry, honey, said her mother, but the laundromat will be closing soon and we must get home. Lisa was reluctant to leave without Corduroy, but her mother insisted. You can come back tomorrow. I'm sure he's still here. As they left, a young man wearing an artist's beret was taking wet laundry out of a bag, the very bag Corduroy had discovered. Before he knew it, Corduroy was being tossed, together with all the sheets, shirts, shorts, and slacks, inside the dryer. But just as the artist was shutting the glass door, Corduroy tumbled out onto the floor. How in thunder did a bear ever get mixed up with my things, the artist wondered. Poor Corduroy was damp all over. The least I can do for him is give his overalls a good drying, said the man thoughtfully. He unbuttoned Corduroy's shoulder strap and put his overalls in the dryer. Corduroy grew dizzy as he watched his clothes spinning round and round, but the artist became inspired. This would be a wonderful painting, he said as he took a sketch pad out of his pocket and began drawing the swirling colors. I can hardly wait to get back in my studio. Finally, the dryer stopped whirling and the man gathered up the clothes. Then he helped Corduroy put on his warm, dry overalls. All at once, the manager of the laundromat called, "Closing time, everybody out." Corduroy was gently placed on top of the washing machine. I wonder who that bear belongs to, said the artist as he was leaving. Seems to me he should have his name someplace. He's too fine of a fellow to be lost. As soon as the lights were turned off, Corduroy began to search again. He was surprised to see something white and glowing in the dark. Maybe it's snow, he said excitedly. I've always wanted to play in snow. He accidentally tipped over the open-lidded box, and suddenly he was covered in soft, slippery soap flakes. Gradually, Corduroy began to slip and slide. Oh, what fun, he said with a smile. I've always wanted to ski down a steep mountainside. He landed paws first into an empty laundry basket. This must be a cage, he said, peeking through the bars. I've never wanted to live in a cage like a bear in the zoo. But now Corduroy felt drowsy, and soon he nodded off to sleep. The next morning, when the manager came to open the door for the laundromat, there was Lisa waiting. I left something in here yesterday, she explained. May I look around? Certainly, said the manager. My customers are always leaving things. Lisa was searching under the chairs in the back of the washing machines when she heard the manager call to her, Is this what you're looking for, señorita? Yes, he's my best friend, shouted Lisa as she came running. She reached in and picked up Corduroy out of the basket. So this is where you've been, my little rascal, she said. It's time I took you home. Lisa thanked the manager and ran out the door down the street, holding Corduroy tightly in her arms. I thought I told you to wait for me, she said. Why did you wander away? I went looking for a pocket, Corduroy said. Oh, Corduroy, why didn't you tell me you wanted a pocket? Asked Lisa, giving him an affectionate squeeze. That very morning, Lisa sewed a pocket on Corduroy's overalls. And here, this is a card I've made with your name on it, and you keep it tucked inside, she said. I've always wanted a purple pocket with my name tucked inside, said Corduroy, and he and Lisa nuzzled noses. The end. This book is called The Piggy in the Puddle. See the piggy, see the puddle. See the muddy little puddle. See the piggy in the middle of the muddy little puddle. See her dawdle, see her diddle in the muddy, muddy middle. See her waddle, plump and little, in the very merry middle. See her daddy, fuddy-duddy, fuddy-duddy, fuddy-duddy. Don't you get all muddy. Muddy, 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 muddy. You are much too plump and little to be in the muddy middle. Mud is squishy, mud is squishy, mud is oh so squishy, squashy. What you need is lots of soap. But the piggy answered, squishy, squashy, squishy, squashy, nope. See her mommy, fiddle faddle, fiddle faddle, fiddle faddle. Get out of there, skedaddle. Daddle, 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 daddle. You are much too plump and little to be in the muddy middle. Mud is mushy, mud is squishy. Mud is oh so mushy squishy. What you need is lots of soap. But the piggy answered, mushy squishy, mushy squishy, nope. See her brother, silly Billy, silly Billy, silly Billy. Do not waddle willy-nilly, willy-nilly, willy-nilly. You are much too plump and little to be in the muddy middle. Mud is oofy, mud is poofy, mud is oh so oofy poofy. What you need is lots of soap. But the piggy answered, oofy poofy, nope. Now they all stood in a huddle right beside the muddy puddle, and they looked into the putty, and they looked into the puddle. What a muddy, muddy muddle. There was a piggy plump and little in the very merry middle. She was waddling, she was paddling, she was diving way down dairy. She was wiggling, she was giggling, and she was very, very merry. Said the mother, "Little piggy, you have made me very mad." Said the father, little piggy, you have made me very sad." "You are very, very bad," said the piggy. "Squishy squashy, mushy squishy, very bad." "Dear, oh dear," said the piggy's mother, "what is a mother pig to do?" She thought and she thought and she thought, and then of course she knew. She said, "I bet my feet get wet," and jumped in too. See two piggies in the puddle, in the muddy little puddle. "In the muddy little puddle, me oh my," said Piggy's father. "What's a father pig to do?" He thought and he thought and he thought and he thought. He said, "I bet my tail gets wet," and jumped in too. See three piggies in the puddle, in the muddy little puddle. See Mommy, Daddy, Piggy in the muddy little puddle. "Boo hoo hoo," cried Piggy's brother, "whatever shall I do?" He thought, but not for very long, because of course he knew. He held his nose and yelled, "Here goes," and he jumped in too. See four piggies in a puddle, in the muddy little puddle. See the piggies in the middle of the muddy little puddle. See the diddle, big and little, in the very merry middle. Said the daddy, "Mud is squishy, mud is oh so squishy squashy." Said the mommy, "Mud is mushy, mud is oh so mushy squishy." Said the brother, "Mud is oofy, mud is oh so oofy poofy." Said the piggy, "Squishy squashy, mushy squishy, oofy poofy indeed." And the little piggies, "I think we need some soap." But the other piggies answered, "Oofy poofy, nope." And so they all dove way down dairy and were very, very merry. Monsters go. When monsters have places to get to, how do they like to go? Skeeter speeds by scooter, Willa takes to walk. Casey drives a car and Rodney rides a rabbit. Debbie and Steffi go by double stroller, and Kira and Mike get there by kite. Beatrice and Bobby take the bus. While Sadaya sails her boat and Katya is carried by a cat. Zabidi goes by zipline and Danny is delivered with dinner. Then the monsters take their trike and all go home together. The end. This book is Love Monster. This is a monster. Hello, monster. I think you'll agree he's a bit funny looking, to say the least. He lives in a world of cute and fluffy things, which makes being funny looking pretty darn hard. You might have noticed that everyone loves kittens and puppies and bunnies. You know, cute fluffy things. but nobody loves a slightly hairy, I suppose a bit googly-eyed monster. Poor monster. This might be enough to make a monster feel, well, a bit down in the dumps. But not being the moping around sort, he decided to set out and look for someone who loved him just the way he is. He looked high, he looked low. He looked middle-ish. He looked inside. And outside. More than once he thought that maybe, just maybe, he found what he was looking for. But it turned out things were never quite as they seemed. Yes, it would be fair to say that his search did not go well. And then it didn't go well some more. It didn't go well for such a long time, in fact, that it began to get dark and scary and, well, not very nice. So the monster, having lost all his oomph, decided it was time to give up and go home. But in the blink of a googly eye, everything changed. You see, sometimes when you least expect it, love finds you. The end. This book is Grumpy Monkey. Are we there yet? Chimpanzee and his friend Tortoise were on their way to the pineapple plant. The pineapple plant was on the other side of the jungle. Well, I'll get there faster if you carry me, Tortoise said to Jim. But you're heavy, said Jim. Please, said Tortoise. And so Jim carried Tortoise. Are we there yet, said Tortoise. Not even close, said Jim. They walked some more and came upon their friend Norman. Norman decided to come along. Are we there yet, said Tortoise. No, said Jim. Please stop asking me that question. And they walked and they walked. All the walking was making Jim tired. Are we there yet, said Tortoise. Tortoise was not being patient. That made Jim mad. We are not there yet, shouted Jim. Look, said Norman, I found a butterfly. Tortoise and Jim stopped their shouting to look. I wonder if I can find any more neat bugs, said Norman. I bet I can, said Tortoise. She searched and found a beetle. A beetle is better than a butterfly, she said. I found 2 worms, said Jim. I found a whole line of ants, said Tortoise. The friends were so busy finding bugs, they almost didn't realize they had arrived at the pineapple plant. Looks like the bugs got here first, said Norman. Ah, cried Jim. He was very tired and hungry. I guess we'll have something to eat back home, said Tortoise. But Jim was so tired he didn't think he could take another step. Are we there yet? How are you feeling? Nervous, happy, sad, silly, grumpy, excited, mad, scared, bananas. The end. Ooh, this book is Grandma and Me. With a smile as bright as a sunny day, my grandma likes to laugh and play. We patty cake and peekaboo. And dance as she sings loop-de-loo. She tosses me a bouncy ball. And tags behind me as I crawl. She understands my baby talk. And takes me on my morning walk. She reads me stories on her lap. She rocks me while I take a nap. She bakes me a cake and tater pie. Because I'm the apple of her eye. The end. This book is Monster Toys. Monsters like all kinds of toys. What will they play with today? Megan makes a mouse house. Deegan dresses dinosaurs. Soren and Sonia play soccer while Lenny lines up lemons. Cassie is driving cars in Peter and Parvel's palace. While Xavier plays the xylophone and Spencer plays with saucepans and spoons. Kristoff colors with crayons and Marisol models with mud. Pauline puts on a puppet show and Katya copies the cat. But Ramona needs a rest, so Bernard brings her a blanket and a book. The end. This book is called Babar and His Family. Hello, Babar. Babar is the king of elephants. He is king in the springtime, the summertime, the autumn, and winter too. Celeste is queen of the elephants. She and Babar have 3 children, Hello, Palm, Flora, and Alexander. The family lives in Celesteville. In the spring, they visit the lake to see the animal parents and the babies. Babar's cousin Arthur lives nearby. He loves to ride his bike with his friend Zephyr the monkey. Springtime is fun for everyone. In the summer, Babar likes to work in his garden with his family. Elephants are good at watering plants and each other. Sometimes Babar and Celeste go sailing. Afterwards, Arthur gets an ice cream cone for everyone. In the autumn, Babar loves to walk through the leaves with his friends. He always wears his crown, even when it's windy outside. Palm, Alexander, and Flora are excited to take the bus to school. They love their teacher, the old lady. Flora is very good at writing. In the winter, the family goes ice skating. Whoops, Palm falls down, but he's okay. That ice is slippery. When it snows, the children build a tall snow elephant. He has a crown. Who could it be? At bedtime, the children look over Celesteville. What a wonderful year it has been. Good night, Babar. The end. And this book is Stanley's Toy Box. Here's Stanley with his toy box. Where is he going with little Woo? To the park. Look, there's Betty. The park is a perfect place to jump rope and bounce balls. The beach buckets for building great big sand castles, and bowling pins for whoops, sorry little Woo. Isn't the pond beautiful? What a great sailing toy boats. Or wind-up submarines, but maybe not at the same time. Windy weather is lovely for flying kites. Or looping the loop with a remote control plane. Watch out. Look at all these toys. Time to clean up, everyone. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, little Woo. And thank you, Stanley. The end. Grandma loves you, baby.